Hello, and I hope everybody's having a good Sunday. And give me just a second because I need to bring something. Okay, I'm going to put it here to cool off. I thought of, hi Carol, I actually built a second little box just for the purpose of lid. And I cannot show it to you. Actually, I guess I could if I'm careful not to burn myself. Because I thought of showing you two ways of doing the lid. Hi, Colleen. Because on this one, we will do the same type of lid that I did on the faux burl wood, the one that goes inside. But then I thought of showing you, bonjour, Elizabeth, how to do the kind of lid that goes on the outside as well. Hi, Lynn. Let me say that real quick in French. Donc, j'ai décidé de vous montrer une façon différente de faire le couvercle pour la boîte. C'est pour ça que j'ai fait une deuxième boîte. On va voir comment faire ce couvercle aussi parce que celui-ci, je vais la faire exactement comme j'ai fait la boîte du tutoriel, mais aussi j'ai fait l'autre boîte qui va vous montrer comment faire un couvercle qui va au-dessous, pas dedans. So, our thing is to, and it might spill over into another live to do all of them, but this is, oh, who is messaging me now when I'm in? It started. Okay. So the next thing was to show you how to do the inside. And I know that there were questions, including Trish asked me how to, why did I cut the inside, the inner bottom using the box, and why I didn't use simply the cutter. And you can try doing that, but I can tell you from my own experience. Hi, Teresa. What happens, sometimes there is a slight deformation of the box that makes it not, hi, Deborah, not perfectly, I mean, super round. And yeah, you can try doing it with the cutter itself for cutting the inside. But as I said, I personally prefer to use the box itself because that ensures a better fit. And you can use either of these. I'm going to actually use the part that I have sanded because that's the best thing to do. You can sand the top later, but always have the what you will use as a bottom perfectly sanded flat. And the way to sand it flat is either to place, if you have a sandpaper, to place the sandpaper and just go with circular motions. And you don't have to go on a thin grit. You can go on a high grit. You can go on a low grit, and that's actually more advisable if you have like a 240 or a 300. It will help bring it to a perfect level. Donc, pour faire la base, vous avez besoin que une des comment, oh, I have brain fart. How to say the edge. Une de ces choses est parfaitement lisse. Et pour faire ça, ne vous inquiétez pas sur l'autre, mais une de ces, je ne me rappelle pas le mot, doit être lisse. Donc, vous prenez votre papier à verre et vous le mettez sur la table et vous simplement faites comme ça. Et c'est mieux d'utiliser un papier à verre avec un numéro plus petit, comme un 240 ou un 300. Okay, so let's go forward and do the inside. So place your piece directly on a tile, and of course I did not bring a tile. Sorry, I have the tendency to lose focus when I'm interrupted. I used to be an excellent multitasker, but after I had chemotherapy, that went out the window. And generally speaking, if I'm doing something and I'm getting interrupted, I completely lose it. So get a flat tile, and because that's the main thing. You don't, at this point, you don't really care if it's going to be shiny. What you care is about not having to move your box anymore. So first of all, make sure that it is well flat on the tile and you don't have any air bubbles trapped in there. If need be, see how I might have one here. If need be, lift it and then press it back in with your roller to make sure that you chased any possible air bubble. And then, yeah, you can press and lift an imprint and then go with your X-Acto knife on the imprint. What I prefer to do is to actually use the X-Acto knife while the box is there. Hi, Soile. Hi, Joaquim. Because it gives me, with my hands, it gives me a support, and I am less prone to go awkwardly. Donc, vous mettez votre pièce de pâte polymère sur une pièce de céramique. Et à ce moment, on n'a pas aucun soupçon en ce qui concerne le fait qu'il va être très luisant, parce que ça sera couvert par le vrai bas de la boîte. So, you go ahead and you cut it, pressing real hard against the edge, against the wall of the box. So you don't go in. And then you gently lift the box. Just remember what position you lift it in, because that's the main reason why you use the box, not the cutter. So we got it like this. And then cut an opening so you can lift it easy. And now you have the exact outline of your box. And we are first going to prepare some of those little strings. Hi, Tanya. And again, remember, don't move the box so you can have it exactly in the same position that you used it to cut the bottom. And make some really, really thin strings. I want to show you something. That white that is so crappy, the latest batch of Primo, I cut some and I cannot actually remove it from my blade. I've been trying to get it off my blade, but it's stuck to the blade. Oh, and no wonder it's stuck to the blade. I got both my blades stuck. That's something. See, that's what happens when you don't see well. There we go. And I couldn't find my second blade. This is why I couldn't remove it. But this is what it did. It stuck my blades together. And see, it's really, really, really crappy. And I might still have issues removing it. Look at this. It's horrible. And of course, if you contact Polyform, they'll say they did not change their formula at all. I never had this happen before. I mean, it's unusable for canes. It's unusable for pretty much anything. It's so stretchy and sticky, and I told you, leaching doesn't help at all. This is a first in so many years. I never had two blades sticking together because of the clay. And you want your string to be about 1 millimeter. You don't want it thicker than that. Because if you make it thicker than that, you'll be able to see it. And your thing is that you don't want it to be that noticeable. And it's okay if it breaks because you'll get it all together once you put it in. I might have enough. Let me get one more. Okay, and then you place some bake and bond right on the edge here. You don't want to go on the very bottom. You only want to go on the edge. You don't even need a lot of it because you're going to smear it. Because that's where you want it to adhere, the inside. And then grab a paper towel and wipe strictly this edge because you don't want any bake and bond to be on this edge, not right now. And I remember where I had it. I hope. I guess not. There you go. I got it. And then gently press evenly on all sides. And this is where the tile will be handy because it shows you if your box went all the way down. I swear, whenever I have to do any kind of cleaning this table to do something else, it's a disaster because then I cannot find my stuff anymore. Okay, so check if your box is all the way. If it will not be all the way, there are the main reason will be that it was not perfectly flat, but you want to get it as close to the tile as you can, because there will be some of that clay that will get squished. And yes, I still have a headache. I don't know, I guess I'm gonna have to see my doctor about it, because this usually never happens for me to have a headache for so long. Okay, then we gently start putting check if you have enough Bake and Bond on the edge here. And I have some spots where I don't have Bake and Bond. And check for the bottom to be all the way to the wall on all sides. This is very important because this will determine how your bottom will hold on to the walls of the box. And just to be on the safe side, I am going to place some more Bake and Bond here. Just on the very corners. And then use a paintbrush. Oops. And then remember, alcohol will clean perfectly the liquid clay from any paintbrush. So you just spray it and then clean it with a paper towel. And that's after I put the little string in, I will check on the chat to see what you have said, because I don't have my eyeglasses on. Okay, and then we'll apply the little strings. It's actually more advisable to have them shorter than longer. initially place them as good as you can. Oh, this is so hard to work around the camera. As good as you can, and then just use a something to push them in where they belong properly. Remember that they need to be thin, because you don't want, when your box is all done, when you open it, to see these little strings in the corner. And after placing them, we will use alcohol to kind of dissolve the polymer clay of the string into the polymer clay of the bottom. That's why you need it to be very, very thin. And then go until you meet the other end. Then grab the same paintbrush that you used for the bake and bond, because that's going to be another method of cleaning it better of that polymer clay. And then simply start dissolving and blending your strip into the bottom polymer clay. That's why you don't want to have to move your box after it's done. Just use this a little bit more. And then all you have to do now is to wait for that alcohol to evaporate, and you can go ahead and bake it. My eyeglasses. No, let me see what happened. Hi, Donna. And I don't know what it is at this point. Okay, so let me get this back through the pasta machine. And there is something, especially because, I mean, I wanted to do something like this anyway, but especially because the white is so horrible that I barely dare to use it for veneer. I don't even know what I'm going to use it for, probably just as, what one call it, scrappy. And if that. Okay, I need more. I know I have more. Scrap clay, just a minute. Okay, and give me a minute to put this in the oven. Okay, so as I said, because the white is so crappy, I'm going to actually make a, a little cane for the middle of the lid because I don't want it to start going wonky and all over the place. Drunk spaghetti trick? What drunk spaghetti trick? What is the drunk spaghetti trick? No, using alcohol on the string. Yeah, that's a good name for it. Drunk spaghetti trick. That's really neat. Oh, let me see which of these. I actually got some souffle for it. Because yeah, I know you were wondering, so how come she says that it's nasty, but she's going to make a cane with it? No, I got souffle for the cane. Actually have some Fimo too. So I guess the royal blue would work the best. I'm gonna use this is what it is, right? No, it's sea glass. So the sea glass. I have another blue. No, I do not. Oops. But I'm going to use a little bit of black, as much as it doesn't sound like it would be a good thing. Oh yeah, spaghetti with vodka, it's a known thing. There's a spaghetti sauce that's made with vodka. Okay, but what we are going to use for the cane, we are going to actually use this, the design on the stamp. Let me say that real quick in French. Parce que le primo que j'ai, le blanc est absolument horrible. C'est trop élastique, c'est trop mou, on ne peut pas le faire plus dur. Donc, je n'ose pas l'utiliser pour faire un couvrage de la boîte. Donc, je vais faire pour le couvercle, je vais faire une canne. Et la canne sera inspirée par le dessin sur le tampon que j'ai utilisé pour les murs de la boîte. So, what do we see here? That we actually have a little bit like palm fronds and then just a few arabesques, pretty much. So this is what we are going to use as inspiration. And we'll have to hold the design to actually not be deformed when we form the triangle. So we will actually form directly a triangle. And of course, we'll put a little bit of twist to it because, of course, we want it to be slightly not boring, maybe, if possible. And yeah, I'm not going to add Primo to this because remember what I always say when we are talking canes, you do not want to mix the clays. You can bring them to a more of a common number of, in terms of being stretchy and what. Look at this. I cannot believe it. The souffle feels the same way. It's all sticky. Oh God, I hope that the souffle is not like the Primo. Doesn't really feel softer than usual, but still. Look at, see how it got squished when I tried to cut it? Oh, goodness. I swear Polyform should work on the consistency of their product. to. Did you go to the link I posted on the Facebook page? There are several Russian websites and forums that have a lot of tutorials. And as I said, I know that not many of you understand Russians or even can read Russians, and that's why I posted that Google webpage translate link in the comments of the post, so you can use it. It's not a perfect translation, but there are so many pretty things on those forums. Um, the thing is, I've always said it that the Russian polymer clay artists, as a global thing, they seem to be leaps and bounds ahead of the West. Why the West has no idea about it is essentially the language barrier. Because number one, they are not that active on the Western front, if you want. And then number two, even if they are, uh, let me tell you something. Um, if you look, if you search, you will not find it for the simple reason that you are searching, writing your search terms with Latin characters. And Russian is written with Cyrillic characters. So unless you actually write your search with Cyrillic characters, you will not get any results. Just out of curiosity, one of these days you might want to go, because there's quite a few websites where you can actually do like you do the Google Translate, or you can just do the Google Translate, and then copy the translation result in Cyrillic, and then plug that in your YouTube search and see what you're going to get. Because the few Russian polymer clay artists that we know and follow on YouTube are the ones that actually do their some of their at least their titles in English too. But most of the Russian artists don't. So yeah, you're missing quite a bit of stuff. Okay, let's see what depth are we going to go for this, because I want to do a middle thing, and then I'm going to do something as a border as well. So if I'm going to go into calculation mode again. So if I go for that thing in the middle, will be about 2 inches. So for that, I will need about this much. So I need my thing to be about 1.5 inches, 2 inches deep. So let's cut this into 2 inches. I have 1 of 2 inches. Then I'm going to make a little bit of a Skinner blend. So let me grab 2 squares of white and 1 square of the sea glass. And remember what I showed you on the how to make faster Skinner blend with the ROMs thing. I'm going to actually place this doubled because I want the white to be predominant. I don't want and I want one end to still stay white. So I am going to get this like this, and then this like this. And then I'm fixing them together and cut it in half so I can have a straight. These go tucked in. So yeah, I'm not saying by any means that the Russians that we know are not good, but you cannot believe what Russian artists are out there. I mean, it is. And remember, I was telling you at one point that souffle makes a little bit of a weirder Skinner blend. So let's take a look at it. And yes, the white in souffle is also soft. I hope I won't have issues. So let's take a look at how it will work. Let's see, it's getting very wide and I don't want it to be that wide. And as usual, I'm going to narrow it down by fanning it. And you want your fan to be fairly of the same thickness. And then I'll simply flatten it out a little bit. To the point that it can go through the pasta machine and continue. Only that I'm going to go lower. Now remember, as I always said, the thing that you need to always be careful is to have your folded part perfectly stuck, because if you don't, it's going, at the end, it's going to separate. You already can see how much different souffle does the gradient. See all these lines? You will not see that in Primo. I mean, yeah, I know we did a fan, but you will still not see these lines in Primo. And try to fold it from the base up. I did fold it from the base down at one point, but it's very hard for me to do this with the camera in the way. And now I can go ahead and actually, I know everybody teaches you, including me, to actually cut it in two and then stack it, but sometimes I'm in a hurry and I don't do that. Now, let me show you another trick. Thank you. Okay, now if I want to make and it's going to help you. See how these petally thingies, fronds, whatever they are wider at the top and thinner at the bottom. Let's try and work our fan directly to that. And I would want them to be darker at the bottom and whiter at the top. Thank you, Carol. So when I'm going to start actually and see how it is a little bit thinner on this side, because I told you the souffle white is also stretchy. It's horrible. So I'm going to pull a little bit on this to make it the same width. So when I'm going to start my fan, I'm making it small folds, okay? And then I will slowly start increasing them, not to the point of getting a triangle, but getting my front pretty much already shaped. And then the other thing that I want to do is to make it a little bit pointy. So at this point, I'm going to start just a bit making the folds a pinch smaller again. So see how I have already formed my front. Can you reduce something that is not triangular, that is not of a precise shape? Absolutely. Just make sure that you don't get air pockets in there, because we don't want that to happen. And we shall need how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4.5. This white is so sticky too. I don't know. As I said before, I think that they have one of their manufacturing sites is not sticking to the recipe, you know, to the formula. I think that's what's going on, because this is horrible. The blue behaves normally, but the white is absolutely unbelievable. I think that I got the souffle, so I wouldn't have to deal with this white, with the Primo white. Okay, before I do anything else, I'm going to want another Skinner blend. And this time, I'm going to use black. And I'm going to use 1.5 squares of black. And then I'm going to use 1 square of blue. And I'm going to use half a square of white, pretty much. And let me go get that box out of the oven because it dinged. Okay, I'm not going to keep you over the pasta machine when I'm doing this Skinner blend. I'll just show you how I'm going to arrange it. So obviously I'm going to once again do because this is the end of the Skinner blend, so I'm going to actually I'm putting it backwards because I have more on one end than the other. And then I will use the blue, and then I will use the white. Because these are just simple Skinner blends. I'm not trying to do anything special to do all those curves and things. So this works much better than trying to calculate triangles and stuff. So once again, form your little rectangle. flatten it to make sure that it won't start going apart when you're making the blend. And give me just a little bit. Oh yeah, somebody asked me if they can use souffle to make turquoise for turquoise. Absolutely. The best to use is robin's egg. Okay, let me see. What did you say? I don't know. It seems to me like the plasticizer is the issue, not the pigment necessarily. But as you say, it's probably the pigment actually, because both they are affected. The white Fimo that I got doesn't seem to be having this issue. I got a big, but it might not be from this batch. It might be older. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I got this. And at this point, I'm going to show you the little trick because I want it to be just slightly lighter. So what I'm going to do is to add more white. Come on, see how sticky it is? It sticks to the fingers. And this should change. You should bring this to a grayish blue. And from here on, I'm going to continue by hand because I want it to have a specific shape. So another way of narrowing your strip, and I showed this in the Skinner blend tutorial, is to actually make a little sausage. Oh, hi, Monica. Good evening, Dawn. Hello, Cecile. And then you just gently push it in. And see how sticky it is on the white part? Horrible. And I'm going to do again the same thing. Push it all the way in because I want it to be fairly narrow. It's going to go here like this. So it's going to have to be way narrower than it is right now. And I'll show you how you can do by hand a controlled width. Actually, I think I showed you in the one of the full Larimars, how to do a relatively controlled width Skinner blend. Ton of air bubbles. Thank you, Monica. See, that's why I like Pardo, because it's so consistent. Okay, I think that right now it's a fairly good Skinner blend, a fairly good gradient. We are going to start working with it. Okay. Even if we have these little things here, they will be just fine. We won't have any issue with that. Now, let me see how wide is this one now. It's 2, so I need 4.5, remember? So if I get half, it needs to be just a pinch longer. Okay, now I am going to cut about 1/2 inch of it. Then I continue reducing this one. And I will cut about 1/2 inch of this one. Then I will continue reducing. So now I need 3. You have no idea how hard it is to work with this thing. And then I will make 2 the same width out of this one. This is going to be an interesting cane with so much stretchiness. Okay, now this is going to be my middle one, so I need it. Yeah, I know. Seems to be bending to the surrounding temperature right now, more than to my will. So this will be half, right? And we want to go with it a little bit like this. So I want this to be here and this to be here. So let me cut a slice. And not only that, but because of the way this is done, I will need the top to be slightly wider and the very bottom to be quite thin. No, I got it backwards, sorry. This is the top. Let me cut another slice because this can go on another piece. Okay, so I want the top to be a little bit wider and the bottom to be a little bit thinner. And on the top, I can actually use a little bit of black to finish configuring my whole thing. So I'm going to place a little bit of black here. All the way to the very top. See? I'm creating like a little box. And then I will come with this. And extend it. All the way down. Now, time for the second one. And the second big one is this one. And it is going to go slightly moving towards the back And it will go like this. And this definitely will have to go in the fridge. And we want to bring these almost to the edge here. Almost, not all the way, because we'll put another element here. Now the next smaller one. And this one is not wide enough. It's almost like working with Studio, honestly. Even if I like that clay, it's so soft. And then let's get one of the small ones. And the other small one. And here I'm going to have a little trick to do. Because I need to insert a little bit of something here to preserve the hole. Gee, this is so sticky, you have no idea. And now I am covering these ends. And I said that we are going to introduce something here, and we will right now. Let's get a piece of white. And some black. Sticky, sticky, sticky. It's so sticky. I have almost a little bit of a circle thing. going on. And I will place this right here. Oops, not this way, sorry. Now let's make the arabesque, because we have these little, some of these little arabesques that look pretty much like a heart if you want. So first let's finish covering these little indentations that might still be here. So our arabesque is supposed to come this way. So let's make it. So we shall need one strip of blue, bonjour Regine, one strip of white, should be okay. And then I'm going to place a little bit of black at one end. But of course we shall need a strip of black to put right here around that, all that flower thing. Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit the camera. Je fais une canne parce que le blanc du Primo, parce qu'on fait la boîte, si tu te rappelles. Et il y a une de ces, c'est pas comment on dit, un batch, des Primo blancs est absolument horrible. Il est très élastique et très mou, et c'est à peu près pas utilisable. Donc, j'ai pris du soufflé pour faire une canne au lieu d'un vernis. Et bien sûr, le soufflé blanc est aussi très mou. Et Teresa a dit qu'on a des problèmes avec le fimo aussi, le fimo blanc. Donc, il peut être que ce sont les pigments qu'ils utilisent dans le mélange. Il doit être le même, la même compagnie qui leur donne les pigments qu'ils utilisent. Okay. So here I have a little bit too much black, so I am going to actually cut it so I can have a better formed triangle. And generally, when you want a nice shape, you fill and then you cut, even if you cut some of the filling that you put there, because that's when you get a perfectly nice shape. And I think I'm going to need to place this actually here. Now, here I am actually going to gently flatten the end with the black. And we want the black to be towards the inside here to create that little spirally thing. And I'm going to place a little bit of black here as well, because I want the spiral to be the spiral inside of the spiral to be very well defined. So I'm going to start my spiral. And it needs even more black. Sticks to the fingers. We put it in place and then it comes back after your fingers. This is so horrible. Okay, I can go a little bit more. So see how I want to have here black that would bring forward the or in about here. If we have it here, right here, it should be perfect. And no worries, because we can reuse this. So we need some black in here. A little triangle. And then we need some black in here. Again, a little triangle. Then we will need a little bit of black here, so that when we put the triangles together, they will not flatten white on white. And then the rest I'm going to fill up here. And also place a little bit of blue. Remember, now we need here the triangle corner, pretty much. And let's make another little arabesque here. because we already have this. But this time we will not make it with black. It'll just help to create our triangle. Okay. I just had to do it a little bit more because this was an older black and it wasn't as conditioned as the rest. And there. I got the whole triangle here. Pretty much. And now we reduce this design so we can cut it in two. And why did I make so much? Because when I said I'm going to put some on the whatchamacallit, border, I'm going to reduce the cane and put some on the border as well as a line. Okay, let me see what's in the. Yeah, and remember we had to kind of match it a little bit to the stamp. This is going to be a lot of clay loss. I'm sorry. You know, I usually don't lose a lot of clay, but with this clay, it will be impossible. Pretty much. To do anything. Righty. No, let's hope that I can cut it straight in half. I'm going to lift the camera so I can look from above. Sorry for that. Well, it's approximatively okay. I didn't trim it perfectly, but oh well. Okay, this might have to go in the fridge for a while because I don't want it to start getting deformed in reduction just because it's too soft. So we are going to continue this. I'm going to reduce it before the next live on the box, and we will continue it next time. I will do the same bottom on this box, and next time we do the lids. And while I'm going to actually put the other bottom on it, because you don't really need a lot of instructions on that one. The principal part was the inside bottom. And then next time we do the lids, and I'll have this already reduced, and I promise you I will not put it together, because I know that that is what you always love to see, how I change and put stuff together. I will only have it reduced, okay? Because it's very, very soft right now, and if I continue trying to reduce it, it's going to get all messed up. So yeah, it's 2 o'clock and I'm starting to get hurting, and we'll do this next time. Now, if you decide to do this with different colors, if you decide to do this with different colors, replace the colors accordingly. You can keep the black, or you can replace the black with one of the colors here mixed with black. That would be very, very, very dark. But on this, on the flower thing, replace the colors accordingly. Now remember that the stamp that I used here, not only it is in the Amazon store, but also Trish managed to find them at a very decent price if you want to go with this specific stamp. But the idea is not necessarily to use this specific stamp. The idea is to give you help on the box that is round, on how to set the bottom. As I said, I'm going to make also the lid that comes on top, not just that comes on the bottom, and especially how to do all the inlays on the lid. So we will do lids, the lids for both of the boxes next time. Thank you for being here with me, and don't forget, sometime during the week, during the next week, I will continue with that 4 gemstones with Pardo, and we will do the Amazonite. Okay? So don't forget that. I'm not sure exactly when, because it will all depend on how I feel, and I have other things to do as well. And these will make very nice beads, I betcha. Okay. Thank you for being here with me today. And I'll see you sometime during the week. And if not, I'll see you next Sunday. Okay? Have a wonderful remaining of the Sunday. Thank you. Goodbye.